Hello and welcome back. The game did receive a important update. We did get 7 new electronic warfare modules, and we did get new Interdictor class ships, both destroyers and cruisers. Now on to the modules. The first module is the Warp Scrambler, a very important, very dangerous module that will be mostly used on frigates and interceptors, but also can be used on cruisers and other larger ships. The Sensor Dampener, a very useful and very important module, can be used for PvE and for PvP. I think I also do have ships that can utilize those. Tracking Disruptors, also important. Finally, a lot of ships that do have bonuses on these modules will be usable, and of course I do have at least 3 of those ships ready. My personal favorite, the Target Painter, which will increase the signature radius of your target, making it easier to lock on, and of course it will increase the incoming damage on the target, and the Guidance Disruptor that will disrupt incoming missiles, also a important module. Now on to the next set of modules, the Interdiction Sphere and of course the Warp Disruption Field Generator. Both will be used, both can be very dangerous, and both of these modules will make null space very dangerous, especially around gates. I think right now as I record this, there are at least several gate camps around my home nullsec system, which will make traversing nullsec very dangerous. Now, besides that, we did also get a new event and new event anomalies. Now this is my PvE setup for this ship, and I do have dual Mark V target painters just to test out how they work. Now for PvP I would use the same fit, only I would replace the omnidirectional control link with a cloaking device. And for PvE you can replace the Warp Disruptor with pretty much any other module that you like. So, as for the Target Painter, it will increase the signature radius of your target, making it easier to hit the target, and it will increase also the incoming damage on the target. Now, here this is the new event anomaly that is currently ongoing, that will last for at least I think 2 weeks. And these crates do contain very interesting modules, of course, if you can get them, because people do check out these anomalies quite often, and you should really be in a fleet while completing these sites, because it is not rare that entire fleets warp in. And the enemy ships will mostly be the same type as the other anomalies within the system. In this case I do fight min-matter ships. Now of course I am at the moment I'm doing this anomaly solo. I am not in a fleet, but I think very soon we should be in a fleet, and of course I'll make sure to record that. Overall, these missions can be very fun in lowsec and in nullsec, especially because these sites are going to be a battleground, a PvP battleground, because it is not rare that you will have several fleets warp in here. That is a opportunity for some nice PvP. Now as you can see, these ships do have a interesting skin on them. This is the Halloween skin, and well, they look nice I guess, but I still do prefer the other skins that the ships do have. The skin that you can get for the Arbitrator is very, well, I should say very odd looking, at least for me. It's not bad, it looks nice, but I kind of can't look past it for some reason, and I kind of don't know how much they cost. I've heard that they are very expensive, so that is also an interesting thing. So I do use the target painters on those ships, and the incoming damage on those ships is greatly improved. From an average of 120 damage per hit on the armor, I now do over 200, which is a decent improvement. Of course, I also further improve the incoming damage with the drone damage amplifiers, which I will upgrade because the current ones are good, but I also can get around 10% more damage with the higher grade faction modules, so I will get those modules. These sites usually are 4 to 5 waves. In those crates you can find blueprints for the new modules, and I've heard you can find the modules itself there. The tier of the module depends on the tier of the anomaly. If you end up fighting tier 8s, then the modules will be Mark 7. If you fight tier 5s, then the modules inside of these containers will be Mark 5. At the moment you can buy and of course if you don't want to use them you can sell them for a very decent price. At the moment the new modules are quite expensive. As time goes on their price will of course go down, but at the moment they are quite expensive, so doing these anomalies can be profitable, especially if you manage to destroy other player ships within the anomalies. If they drop something very interesting, then you can actually make a decent amount of fisk per day by just doing the event anomalies. Overall, I have to say the idea behind this is nice. It is also very interesting because in my case I am in low sec. I am expecting a fleet to warp in at any second. That's what was happening so far, and you have to be very careful. Now you can warp in those anomalies cloaked, but you have to be careful. You don't know what's gonna happen. In some cases the enemy ships are going to be very close and they can uncloak you, or in other cases you might warp into a fleet of player ships waiting at the landing point. And let me tell you, that can be very dangerous. But in my case so far I was quite lucky not to get caught. I did try to go for PvP, but unfortunately this time I wasn't quite lucky. At the moment I also did hear reports of a lot of bugs in the game, which I hope will be fixed very soon, because the bugs do prevent a lot of people from doing PvP, of the fear from losing the ship, and of course from the fear of losing the ship because of the bug, and that I do understand. Well, let's see what will happen. I think this is the third wave. Let's see, this is the fourth wave now, and I am 72 kilometers away from these enemy ships. So let's see what will happen. I honestly do expect a fleet of enemy ships to warp in at any second. These anomalies are at the moment excellent hunting ground if you want to shoot down player ships. That's what I did have in plan, but I didn't count on whole fleets warping in, so that's kind of a small problem, but it's not too bad. I will adjust, of course, that's what I have to do. 11 ships left. That stabber is going down. Okay, let's see. Now I did expect a lot more ships to get the skins, but at the moment I think only 5 or 6 ships do have the new Halloween themed skin. Okay, the next target will be that Thrasher. After that I will target the other frigates. I usually like to stick with the range. That means the closest enemy ship will be my personal primary target. Oh, look how they are very close. I like that. Well, that Thrasher got destroyed. Okay. Now you might notice I did go very far away from the landing spot. That is because in case a whole fleet of enemy ships decides to warp in and of course to take away my anomaly, which is what can happen. There are 20 other players in local in the system, and the probability of them landing here at the moment is quite high because this is a event anomaly and because you can get very nice rewards, very nice loot from the... Oh, well, there we go. That's the first ship warping in. Okay, well, let the games begin, as they say. A Caracal Navy. Okay, that's the second ship coming in. I'm pulling back my drones in case they decide to go after my drones. A second Caracal Navy. Okay, a third cruiser warping in. Let me take more range in case they decide to go after me. Oh, that's a battle cruiser. Excellent. Wonderful. More cruisers warping in. Great. And... oh my god. A more Guardian. Okay, well. Well then, it was fun while it lasted. But, yep. Oh man. That's a full fleet of players there. I didn't expect that to... well, I did expect that. Let me correct myself there immediately. I did expect that, but I didn't expect this. I expected 2 or 3 players, but 10, or actually no, it's not 10, it's actually only 6 players. Well, okay, it is within the... it is mostly what I expected, to be 100% honest. And well, let's see what will happen here. I don't want to warp out. I do want to see if they want to play. Let's see what will happen. I'm kind of curious. If they decide to go after me one by one, then I might have a chance. But if they all rush at me, then all I can do is maintain the range that I have. If I had 150 kilometer drone control range, I would launch light drones at any of these ships just for fun. But currently my range is 75 kilometers, 74, so I can't do anything about that. Well, there they are. 6 ships sitting there, or who knows, maybe even 7. Well, they locked me, I locked them. Let's see, maybe they will try to get me. I'm kinda curious. If they go after me one by one, then it will be interesting. Let's see. Okay, well, I'm definitely not gonna approach that fleet. That's not happening today. That kite can be a easy target, I think. That is a logistic. I can theoretically take it out, but those 3, 4, or maybe even 5 or 6 cruisers with 1 battle cruiser are something that I don't want to play with. Let me try to scare them with a target painter, although that gave me criminal, but why not? Now this is what I call taunting. Okay. And I'm still orbiting at 250 kilometers. Well, let me see them try to get close to me. Well, they did manage to... they did take away my looter, my anomaly. So unfortunately the loot in those containers is theirs and they warp out. Okay, well, fair enough. GG. Now that kite is warping last, so if I was close, that kite would be toasted, but maybe next time. This day today wasn't the best day, actually, to be honest. Oh man. Well, that was fun. That was fun. Could have been even more fun if they decided to go after me. I wouldn't warp out. I would actually stay and play around with them. Why not? Well, how the target painters work in PvE for encounters and other stuff, they work phenomenally. They improved the damage efficiency of my drones quite a bit. They improved the damage efficiency on my main weapons, on my lasers, quite well. I think they will also benefit missiles a lot more, which I do have to try out. The bellicose cover tops can utilize, it does have a bonus on target painters, which I think will make that ship a very powerful tool in fleets. Those ships can be very nice to use. I do have one bellicose cover top somewhere. I will fly that ship, and it will have 2 target painters. It has a good bonus on them as well, so it will be interesting to try out that ship. And at the moment, the current ship that I fly doesn't have a bonus on them, but they still do improve the overall damage efficiency of my weapons. Now, 63 kilometer range. I think I can get 70 kilometers with the highest tier of the target painters. So I will try to get that module, mostly because my ship does have 74 kilometer maximum drone control range, which is important. Now, in the last patch, in the patch notes, I did read that they decided to patch the drones a little bit. That means, if you remember, the drone easy mode, as players like to call it, where you can launch drones and then you can fly away at 240 km plus from the main target. The drones actually still do engage the target, even beyond the maximum control range. So they decided to keep that in the game, which is good. I think that would have made drones actually it would balance them out, but it would make the drones kind of pointless as a weapon, because that's what made them unique. So that is still in the game. You can still use drones for that. It's a very efficient way, and at the moment the safest way to do any storylines and to do any anomaly or in general any mission. Even in PvP it can be used, which I didn't have time to try out, but in a fleet I will attempt to do that once my crew decides to open up a fleet. I'll definitely try the drone trick out in PvP, because that's something that I didn't do, but I will. Overall, the target painters will improve my mission clear time by a lot, because they will improve the overall damage on these enemy ships, and that means the other modules are also going to be very efficient. Now, one module that I currently need a lot are the jammers for my Blackbird. I think those modules aren't in the game yet, and the Blackbird has a bonus on jammers, so the Blackbird will have to wait in the hangar until those modules are out. But now the Celestis cover tops will have a use, now the Bellicose cover tops will have a use, the Interdictor class ships will have a use. They are also, at the moment, like I said before, widely used in nullsec for PvP, mainly PvP ships. They open up the bubbles on the gates, which means a lot of ships are going to be destroyed in the upcoming days. So if you are traveling in nullsec, be very careful around certain systems. Well, in general, be careful around any system, because you never know when you will stumble upon a gate camp. Like I said, my nullsec home system is being gate camped, so I'm not going to go near that system until the gate camp is cleared. So that will be interesting, and of course we are going to utilize bubbles in our own benefits. We're also going to camp gates, most likely, which will be fun. Okay, let's see. Now, certain storylines were changed. For example, if you remember, this elite rupture is usually very fast. It's the first ship that I do run away from when I do this particular storyline mission. But since the last update, that rupture is not interested in chasing me down, which is very, very weird. I actually think that the elite ship is bugged, because that elite ship should chase me down to this location here, but that ship doesn't seem even to be locking me on, so that is something interesting. I will still approach the ship carefully. Well, the elite rupture is not interested in chasing me down, so that's weird. For some reason that ship is not even locking me on. That means this mission at the moment does have a bug, and if that elite ship did represent a problem, then at the moment you can kill it, you can destroy it without the elite ship even locking you on. So that's a bug, I think, because that ship, in other storylines, the fast elite ships do chase me down, but this elite ship doesn't seem to be interested in chasing me down, which is, I think, the first time ever that happened to me. So yeah, that's interesting. Well, overall, module wise and ship wise, the update is good. The event is also quite nice, but there are a couple very dangerous bugs in the game. I did hear reports of the game crashing. The game actually crashed, in my case, once only. I did hear reports of the UI being buggy, which is something that I can confirm. And there were reports of the buttons not responding. The autopilot also did receive a couple new bugs. So overall, the developers need to do quite a bit of bug fixing, which I think they will do that very fast. They should, because it can be a major problem. Well then, with that being said, I hope that you enjoyed. It was a pleasure to record this for you, and with that being said, stay safe, fly safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.